taxes, keeping my books straight, running a profit and loss statement, it all gets so confusing. I used to spend more time trying to worry about my taxes, and if I'm doing them right, than I actually did working on my business. I needed a solution. That is when I found Core Financial. Core is a team of tax professionals that actually care about real relationships with their clients. From the moment I hired Core, I was able to trust that I would be fully taken care of. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all the tax breaks I qualify for. Are you struggling to understand your finances? Do you need help making sure you don't make any mistakes? Look no further. Core Financial. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core Financial, and we know you will be too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to see what they can do for you. Core Financial. Real relationships. No surprises.
When it comes to all of this kind of stuff, confidence plays a huge role. And just know that most of us are not born with uber super confidence. It's something that we have to practice every single day.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn, joined today by Nick Miller, of course. Nick, it's a good week. It's a new week. What's new with you? How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing really, really well. Happy 4th of July, which is coming up as we're recording this. It'll be, in the past when you listen to it.
Nick, you
that's
totally
how
butchered
recording.
that.
I did, whatever. It's good. It's very hot here in Wichita. Is it hot there in Tulsa? I'm just assuming that it's very hot there.
113 degrees Fahrenheit today, which is like basically
is that like the
sun.
actual temperature
index.
or the heat index? Yeah. It was 108 last night here in Wichita, but
too much.
My office downstairs in the basement is kind of chilly, so that's why I'm wearing this nice little zippy jacket thing. I don't know. I like a good jacket. So
yeah, you do.
But anyways, to answer your question, I'm doing good.
That's great. I mean, it was 4th of July last weekend, as this goes out. So I'm going to pretend I know what I did. I hung out with friends. I swam at the pool. I kept a social distance.
Are you missing a finger?
No.
From the explosions?
No.
Dumb. That was bad joke.
All right.
Cut it out.
Nick, last week we talked about something and it resonated with a lot of people.
It did.
About branding. About taking it to the next level with your client experience. And we just, so many people in the group of our Facebook group were just like, that was so timely. Thank you so much for that. So many people are asking questions. We've been doing a lot of mentor sessions lately with people. And we wanted to go next level with branding and just continue that conversation.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about your website and your logo and your feel and all of that good stuff and like it all working together. And if you haven't listened to that episode, push pause on this episode, go listen to that episode first. But like this week, we want to talk about just like that next level. And when it comes down to it, Nick, you don't want to be forgettable. And I think so many of us end up just being another vendor. And so we want to break that down today. Like, how do you make sure you're not forgettable to brides? How do you make sure you're not forgettable to grooms? And how do you make sure you're not forgettable to other vendors? And so great conversation ahead of us. I'm really excited about it. Nick, what do you have to add to that?
Don't be forgettable. Have people remember you for who you are and what you do.
You sound like a fortune cookie.
Yeah, maybe I am.
And
scene. So no, that's very true. So I think that one of the biggest problems that most photo people have or video people have or something is the idea that, well, my work speaks for itself. Right. Yep. It's like if I, create this wedding film, like it's going to sell itself. And while that is true, it's also kind of not true. Like you're going to book more, obviously, if you have really good work. But what do you do whenever there are 5 people in your town and all of them have like really solid, really good work? Like what do you do? How do you move forward? And so you need to be unforgettable. One of the things that I know that Jen and I do is, when we're talking on the phone with our couples and, we're interacting with them, we want to let them know that we are a vendor that cares. And if there's anything that they need to reach out to us, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is actually responding to emails, like in a timely fashion. Same day if they have a question. That seems to be something that a lot of vendors really, really struggle with, is just basic communication. And so if you're communicating with your couples ahead of time and talking to them and joking with them and building that rapport with them, you're going to be memorable, so that they want to work with you, so they're excited to work with you. I know John does a really, really good job of building that rapport before the wedding happens. So when it comes to being unforgettable for at least your couples, like what are some of the things that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I always put myself in their shoes, and I'm just thinking, like, what am I going to say or do that's going to make me stand out in a positive light? Not necessarily like, how can I just be dumb and crazy so they remember who I am, but just little things here and there throughout the whole process where it's just like, wow, like that was very memorable. Like if somebody reaches out to me about filming their wedding, I had a bride reach out yesterday, and like she was gonna be getting married in Hawaii, and now she's not going to Hawaii. She's gonna get married here in Tulsa, and like we had a good conversation. Like she, reached out, and within 5 minutes I had texted her. I said, "Are you available now?" We had a really good quick phone call, and as we were talking, she was like, "Yeah, we're really bummed we're not going to be going to Hawaii, but like we want to be married more than anything." And so after the phone call, I sent her a text and said, how excited I was to chat with her. I'm looking forward to working with her. And then I said, I'm just over here making a top 10 list reason of why Tulsa is better than Hawaii. And she was like, "That's so funny. I just met her where she was at and just let her know that I'm a real person." Like I threw in a couple of emojis that were just like the eek face, trying to come up with a reason why Tulsa's better than Hawaii. But the point being is, like, there's no cookie cutter process to this. It's more of a mindset that you need to have going into your business of like, what am I going to do to show off my personality? And I was always afraid to do this. I didn't want to come across, I didn't want to like offend anybody, or I didn't want to upset anyone or stand out in a negative way. But the more I, did this podcast with you, Nick, and learning from other people, it was just like, no, the more that I can just put my personality, if you think about it, like you're color correcting a film, the saturation on your film, it's like you want it to not be oversaturated, but whenever you're doing your thing with your couples, you want to just oversaturate your personality just a little bit. You want to bump it a little bit, if that makes sense. So that's what I do. I don't pull it all the way up where it's so saturated, but I don't mute it to where I'm just black and white. And so you have to find your voice, and you have to go all in on being you and just a little bit extra version of you. That's my whole mindset going into it. Yeah.
And one thing is, it comes to like being unforgettable, like on the wedding day. We've talked about this before, and we know that there are different personality types. Like if you're kind of a more timid, quiet, person, and you were to shadow John on a wedding day, you would probably be like, I can't do that. That's not me. And we're not telling you that you shouldn't be you and who you are, but we don't believe that if you want to be memorable, if you want that to kind of fit your brand, and so people know that Steve is the guy that you need to hire, or Jessica is the girl you need to hire, like that kind of stuff. Like being a fly on the wall is probably not going to be your best approach, because you don't want people to say, you had a videographer? Like, were they there? Like, I didn't talk to them. I didn't see them, which, that if that's your style, I'm not necessarily knocking it, but we're talking about being rememberable on the wedding day and having people remember you, and they want to refer you, and you want them. The thing that John and I say all the time is you want people to fall in love with their wedding video before they have seen a single frame of footage, right? And if you're a person that like they don't even know that you're there, that's not going to be that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah. And to me, I think that when it comes down to it, if I'm thinking about it, I want to leave an impression on as many people as possible on the wedding day. For instance, I want to leave an impression on the florist. I want to leave an impression on the cake maker. I want to, when you start boiling it down, it's like in priority, I want to make an impression on the bride and groom or the couple, their parents, their families, the wedding party. Like if I can make an impression on the like bridesmaids more than the groomsmen. I do book a lot of weddings because a groomsman was in a wedding. The wedding I did 2 weeks ago, the groom was a groomsman in a wedding before. But most of the time, my bookings come from previous bridesmaids or people at a wedding that saw how I interacted and I left an impression with them. I'm not just a goofball. I'm very professional, and I'm really good at what I do. I light it well. I shoot it well. I'm a professional, but at the same time, I'm not only focused on my profession, because the majority of my entire branding is my personality and the impression that I'm leaving on people. So if you're a more timid person, you can still leave an impression by the quality of your conversations with certain people at the event, the way you interact with the photographer, the planner, the detail that you put into your work. It all flows together. And so finding that voice of your own, figuring out how do you want to leave an impression, that is taking your branding to the next level. And so for me, some of those things that I do, I'm getting there early. I'm finding the wedding planner. I'm just engaging conversations, see if there's anything that I can film that they want me to make sure. I'm making sure with the planner that this angle, is this what you want for your video or photos? And then like when I get to into the bride's room, I'm making an impression by not just being like, hi, I'm here, but there's a spidey sense the whole time that I'm going through, like, okay, I want to leave an impression on this person and that person. And I want people to leave that wedding and be like, that video crew, I liked them. And I'm okay with it if I'm giving my true personality, if people are not turned off by that. So it's a fine balance for sure, but make an impression on people.
Yeah. And try to make that impression positive, especially if you want to be hired. There is, I was talking to a planner on a wedding day, and she said, man, there's this photographer. Their images to this day are some of the best images I have ever seen. But they would not listen to me. They got us completely off track. The ceremony was started in 15 minutes, and he had them 30 minutes away. Like, did not pay attention. And even though their images were some of the best I've ever, I will not refer them to this day. Will not refer them. And that's because of the impression that they left on the people. And again, I think that we do get a ton of work from like bridesmaids and brides and families and that kind of stuff. But I'm sure a lot of the work that we get, I know a lot of the work that we get is from other wedding vendors, is from other wedding professionals. So you need to have a quality relationship with them. You need to, brand yourself and make yourself look good in front of them. And so that they will want to say, oh, you have to hire Nick and Jen. You have to hire John. You have to hire these people because they are the best and they will treat you well on the wedding day. So that impression isn't just for, the couple side of things. It's also on, the vendor side of things as well.
So good. Yeah, and you got to think about it like this. The brides, they come and go. The wedding parties, that's great, and you should be getting referrals from them. But like what Nick is saying is like, what can you be doing to brand your company to other vendors in town, not just at wedding days? Like, what can you be doing?
Yes.
Can you be, with us, we do photography, and so once a year I will have Nina print out 3 to 5 new wedding album type books. They are the books that we sell for $2,000. They cost us $400 or $500 to make them. And we lay out images from that venue for the year and say, hey, here's a book with all of the beautiful images. Or it might be a planner and we say, hey, here's all the weddings we did with you. That kind of thing. And so there's some other things that we do that I want to talk about which we will get to when it comes to video and different products. But like the thing that I'm thinking about all the time is just like, I don't need to make an impression on the florist that I want to work with every day, all day. But, a few times a year. And if you're always thinking about, okay, today I'm going to make an impression on 3 to 4 businesses in my area, I'm just going to send a message or I'm just going to comment on a social media post. But if you're not thinking about that and you're just in your world, only thinking about your edits, and that's it. Like there are unicorns out there that can do that have such incredible work that it's next level that will get them all the work. And I think we see that out there and we think, oh, well, all I have to do is make something that good and everything will fall into place. And my question to you is, why wouldn't you try to make something that good and worry about the way that you're branding. And I'm not saying if you make incredible films that you're not worried about your branding either, but there is a balance, and the majority, 99% of wedding videographers and more, aren't the unicorns. We are business owners that need to be in our niche, in our area, doing the slow, steady build all of the time. And that's what should resonate with you if you're listening, even if you are one of the unicorns. So,
yeah, definitely. We are not the, oftentimes our work does not sell itself. We wish it would, and in some cases it does, but for a overwhelming majority of the time, it does not. And it's our relationships with people, both brides and vendors, that are going to take us to that next level. And again, that's, as we talk about branding, people again think of branding as logo, but branding is so much bigger and it's so much broader than that, right? And so here we're talking about like how you're treating your clients on a wedding day and how that is your brand as well. It's not just, oh, here's my fancy logo on a business card. That's not just your branding. It's your website, it's your presence, how you're interacting with people. It's, how you're communicating, whenever you see them in Target, randomly 6 years after they get married, like that kind of stuff it all fits into your brand.
Yeah. And after our conversation last week, I think it was timely for me, since the conversation last week, I've actually, hired Nick's professional that has redesigned his website, and I'm getting going on my new website build. And I say that here because I think that I'm listening to Nick talk, and it's like my branding when it comes to in person is next level. It's like that's what drives my business, and I am really good at that. I'm really good at making sure I'm connecting with people, and to be honest, I can continue to book 20 weddings a year off of my website from 6 years ago, my logo from 8 years ago, and incredible branding with people. Like that's not a question. Like I know that, and that's kind of been my excuse for the last 6 years is like, well, I've got this many more weddings and I keep raising my prices. But what really, set me over to the next side of this, that put me over the edge, was like thinking about, okay, does this really represent does the website, the logo, the look represent how much I'm doing over here and what it feels like to work with me? And it was missing. There's a missing link. And so I'm sure that the money that I'm spending on this new design and this new website is going to give me even more confidence to raise my prices, to do, to serve better. And I think that I'm missing out on people that would book me, that I can serve well over here. And so by doing that, by building this brand out and matching it with the in-person way that we handle people, like it's going to offer a full experience. And so, I'm super pumped about that. And I thank you for your recommendation, Nick.
Hey, you bet. And that is, I'm going to give her a plug. Her name is Raven at 315 Design or designs.com. 315 Design. I can't remember.
Thanks, Raven.
Yeah. So if you are interested in a website overhaul, facelift, whatever you want to say, we definitely, I would check her out. So we've been chatting for a little bit about this new next level branding stuff, and we're going to keep going with that. And we will continue this conversation right after this break.
Are you tired of just sending a link to your couples when you are done with their film? Do you want to deliver something they can actually see and feel? We are so excited to tell you about Photo Flash Drive. Photo Flash Drive's Playbook video player is a game changer for you and your clients. Live memories in storybook form. Take your delivery experience to the next level with your couples. Photo Flash Drive's Storybook is packed with features: a customizable cover, beautiful video quality, easy drag and drop file load, and up to 32 gigabytes in storage. Not only that, you can upload multiple videos to your player so the couple can watch all of their videos in one place. Watch your couple's jaws drop as they open the book and are able to relive the day. The video playbook is a great way to sell additional items to your couple, a great way to offer the full branding experience, and a great way to leave an impression. And do we have a deal for you? Use promo code HTFW30 for 30% off all Playbook video players. Just head over to howtofilmweddings.com/photoflashdrive to see all of the details.
And we are back from break. We were talking about next level branding in this episode, and John and I had a mentor session yesterday. And as we were looking at this person's website, which was absolutely gorgeous, and like John and I are both redoing our website, and I was like, man, this just looks so good. It looks so slick. It looks so amazing. And then we got over into the pricing section of their website. You know, the company shared their pricing info with us and all that stuff. And as I'm looking and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling, there were just a lot of add-ons with it. And John and I are all for a la carte and upselling and that stuff, but there was something about the presentation that made me feel overwhelmed, and I'm in the industry and I get it. So we were talking to them a little bit about the bride and how they think about those kind of things. So John, why don't you talk a little bit about your thoughts of, looking at some like pricing information and how that relates to your branding and moving forward like that.
And here, and I think so many of us, when it comes to the subject of selling, money, packages, that's whenever we get to a point where we're like almost afraid to like be confident with our pricing and people ask me all the time, like I'm known for like being able to sell things very well, and like everybody that works with me is just like, my goodness, like I wish I could sell like you. And I think I've kind of boiled it down. Like I am, we talk about serving, not selling, but like I'm branding at the same time. Like my brand is how I can help them by selling them things, and by selling them the things that only they need and they want. And I'm guiding them and learn, like I don't want to overwhelm them. And so my brand, one of my key values is that I want people to be able to enjoy their wedding planning process. I want them to be able to relax and to be refreshed when they think about me. And so I think a lot of us, when it comes to our branding around our prices and our packages, we forget about it. We forget that it needs to feel on brand, and it needs to feel like part of an extension of what we're offering them. So many times we have this killer website, we have these things, and then we have an uncomfortable amount of information or an uncomfortable booking process, and it doesn't match the brand. And so I would challenge you to look and have somebody else that's another wedding filmmaker or something look at your pricing and your packages to see, does this match the rest of the brand? Because in this mentor session we were having yesterday, like Nick is saying, the website is killer. Everything is right and on point. But when it got to the actual pricing, it was like, this doesn't feel the same as the rest of everything else. And so that whenever I made that change in my business to being like, oh, I don't need to include I don't need to say that my drone is a Mavic 2 Pro that shoots 4K 1080 at 10-bit or whatever. And it's like, I don't need all that detail. I am trying to pare it down. And in this mentor session, I was likening it to, if you go to a really nice steakhouse, which I hope that you've gone to a really nice place like this, usually they have like 6 to 8 total items on one page of a menu. It's very clean. It's very easy to decide. They're not trying to sell you a whole bunch of things. And I was like, do you want to be the nice steakhouse that has just a few options? Or do you want to be like Chili's? And Chili's is great. I like Chili's just fine. If they want to sponsor us, just come on, #support us. But Chili's has 15 pages of menu. It's so like, I get the same thing every time because I'm just overwhelmed. I don't want to try anything new. I don't know what to even, like, there's just so much, there's too many options. And so I think that if you're thinking about your pricing and your booking page of more a nice place and like less information, get that ball rolling that way. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm sure I have more, but
I really like that. Think of it, too, as there's been so many of us that, as we are in business and we're going and we're moving, we figure out the types of weddings that we want to shoot. We figure out the types of clients that we want to work with. And so, one of the pieces of advice that we have shared, that we've heard from other people, that other people have shared, and it's been a long time, is show the type of work that you want to shoot. Show the type of stuff that you want to create. And so when it comes to, talking about your pricing, but you can shift that also over into your branding and look of your website and the feel of everything, is if you only want to shoot, for example, high-end ballroom weddings, then that's all that should be on your website. If all you want to shoot is intimate elopements, then that's the stuff that you should really put on your website. And as we relate this, into our pricing and stuff, only if you have more of an a la carte, an a la carte thing, maybe pare down the stuff that is maybe like later on or after the wedding. For instance, like raw footage deliverables, or FOMO type edits, these longer form edits, or if you have like digital delivery, like a hard drive or a playbook, or something like that can be talked about later. But if you putting on the things that you really want to shoot, like I know John is a big pusher of rehearsal dinner stuff. So you can guarantee you that of the, under his package of the 5 a la carte items that are on there, rehearsal dinner is one of them, because he believes it's really important. And it's a good way to make a little extra cash, for not a whole lot more work. And so it's that kind of thing, whenever you go to you don't want to overwhelm them. And so pare down your pricing and make it the type of stuff that you want to shoot, as it should be, with showing the kind of stuff that the films on your website, or the videos that you're putting on Instagram or YouTube, whatever. The same rules apply to all of these different places, and you just need to figure out, if we're doing the restaurant analogy, what kind of restaurant you want to be, right? Do you want to be the fancy steakhouse? Do you want to be Chili's? That's fine if you want to be Chili's. Like we're not bashing that, but we're just saying that it's. Well, John, what did you say yesterday? That whenever you go to Chili's, you get the chicken quesadilla every single time because
I do. Yeah. It's
safe and you know what it is. So I guess you just need to know, listener, you need to know and understand what you are and what you're presenting. And another kind of, as I'm keeping going, and John, if you need to cut me off, you cut me off. Why we are pushers for, if you have corporate, or you have real estate, or you have other types of video work that you do, we highly recommend separating those out. Maybe it's different websites or something, but at least have a dedicated page to weddings, a dedicated page to real estate, a dedicated page to corporate, so that the people that are looking for the thing that they're looking for can find it and not overwhelm them and not confuse them.
Exactly. Yeah, I think all those are great points. And when I come back to what I want to be, as John Redeemed Productions, is like, I want to be a guide for my couples. I want them to need me to help them make decisions and tell them what they need for their wedding. Not because I'm trying to manipulate them or sell them something they don't need, but it's like the couples that hire me, I'm there as a sounding board because I've been there. I know what the wedding at their venue is like. I know what their photographer is like. I know what their planner is like. I know when the sun is going to set and where it's going to hit based on their venue and where, and so those little things add up. And so all of that, I'm their guide. That's my brand. I want to guide them. And so my sales process, when it comes to my packages and what I'm guiding them into making a decision. And I'm confident that if they do book me, I'm going to be able to serve them even better. And so that whole thing for me, I don't have to worry about being confident about what I'm selling, because I've strategically put together one package that's like everything you need. And then I've put another package together that's everything you need and more, basically. And there's a lot of other things that I can sell, but I don't try to do that right at the beginning. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, but it's a very much a process to get them to see other things they might want. And, when it comes down to it, if you can earn yourself another $1,000 per couple by taking it slow and removing some of this, extra from your packages, like $1,000 extra a couple, 25 couples, $25,000. That's a lot in a year. And that helps you free up your time. And that ultimately gives them a better experience with your brand. So it all flows together. And it's one of those things that if you're not paying attention to it and you're just like, I kind of suck at sales. I kind of suck at my numbers. I kind of suck at my branding. Like, this is the time. Like this, there's no better time. Like in the 14 years that I've been doing weddings, I've never had just like a mandated break where I could focus on some of these things. And so like you can let this get you down, or you can really start ramping it up and doing things that are going to change things for you and for your family.
Yeah. I think that, that's good stuff there. Good stuff there.
Thanks, bud.
I don't know what to add. Whenever it comes to maybe a strategy for, when it comes to the packages that you're making and thinking about that stuff, like we kind of have the mindset of, okay, what do you want to work for? And like that kind of, like in our mind, we want to serve our couples really well. And so at what price point and what are we going to offer as like, okay, for us to get out the door, this is how much we need to make, and this is what we want to offer. And I think that, as you're branding yourself, more, if you want to go more of a steak kind of a nice fancy restaurant kind of thing, really, really think about, how the package that you're offering, that one like right at front, and what that says about you and what that says about your brand. And there's everything from what's included in it to the price point. And of course, that's going to be different for depending on, where you live and how long you've been in business and, all of those kind of things. So just take inventory of that sort of thing.
Yeah. When we were doing our mentor session yesterday, they asked us about the starting price on their site. And I think that this is a huge topic, but I think a lot of people, because the way that they price themselves, like by the way they put it on their website or don't or not or starting at, but like they had this killer website and a price that both Nick and I were like, it seemed low. It seemed low.
Our impression was the website looked good enough that without even seeing any of their work, we were like, you do $5,000 work. Like without seeing a single video, just kind of looking around, but their price point was lower than that. And we were like, there's a little bit of a disconnect in our opinion there. Yeah.
And there's something to it where it's like, you have to be in tune with the way that your look is, your market is, and be comfortable having that price, like a starting price that is lower. Like there are brides that will come to your site and see the price starting lower, and ultimately they just think that you're not good enough because your price is too low. There must be a reason that the price is low. And so you have to do some self-awareness act. You have to see your site, you have to know your brand, you have to know all these things and get, feedback from other people. But it's like self-awareness saying, I'm uncomfortable to charge more is different than I should be charging more. Like you need to know whether or not, like, and it all comes back to like your branding. Like the whole point of this episode is the next level of branding. The next level is being confident about that number that you're putting on your site and showing them why and walking them through a process and things like that. So anyway, all good things. Nick, do we want to jump over into the question of the day?
Do we want to do that now? Or sure.
Do you want to go to a break, or do you want to do the question of the day?
Well, let's go to break, and then we can do our question of the day. One thing I did want to add, and I said this yesterday in our mentor session. I was watching Queer Eye my wife was watching it. I was there, and one of the guys had this shirt on. Okay, and I thought this was great. It said that Oh, what word were you just talking about? I lost it.
I don't remember. I talk a lot.
Oh, you do talk a lot. Confidence is a habit, not a trait. Okay. There are some people I think that are just naturally a little bit more confident in their life, but the idea is that confidence is something that you practice, that it's something that you come back to and you do over and over and over again. If you're not confident, let's say selling, asking your clients, to buy this package that costs whatever, if you're not confident in that, they're going to be able to tell. So one thing that you could do is if you act like you are the most confident person in the world, maybe when you're not, feeling confident will soon follow if you are acting it and you are acting like you believe it. So when it comes to all of this kind of stuff, confidence plays a huge role. And just know that most of us are not born with uber super confidence. It's something that we have to practice every single day. So anyway, I saw it on a shirt, thought it was good, wanted to share it. Now we're going to go to break.
Do you remember that wedding from a month ago? Yeah, like that one that you needed to start editing yesterday? But you also need to prep today for your wedding tomorrow, and you're leaving for your first vacation in forever on Monday. So what do? It seems that the only creative part of your edits are the excuses you're going to have to give your clients. We have the solution, Wedditor. Wedditor is a team of top wedding editors, project managers, and account coordinators that help us wedding filmmakers edit. They match the right editors with your style so you can spend your time where it matters most, on your business. Nick and I both use Wedditor, and we don't know how we would run our companies without them. It takes a team to build an amazing business, and you shouldn't try to do it all on your own. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor to help you free up your time so that you can focus on growing your brand. Be sure to use promo code HTFW for $50 off your first project. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing. We know the time suck that is searching for the perfect song for your wedding film. MusicBed has spent years collaborating with artists, bands, and composers to make it easier than ever for anyone to find the right song for their video.
With amazing artists like Chapters, Tony Anderson, and The Light the Heat, MusicBed is the best place for wedding videographers to get licensed music.
Their subscription service was a life changer for me, especially since all of their subscription music is pre-cleared for every social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, Love Stories TV, and my personal favorite, YouTube, all pre-cleared.
And if you are interested in a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed. When you sign up, use the promo code HTFW and you will get your first month for free. We are back from break, and now we're going to talk about our Wedditor question of the day, or our question of the day presented by Wedditor. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing. And John, let's talk about add-ons. How do you go about it, and what does your process look like for upselling, adding on, whatever?
Yeah, and in the vein of branding, you don't want to come across as super salesy. You know, I talked about this in an episode about like going to the dentist, and it always feels like they're just trying to sell me something, and I don't know if I need it. Like, I have no cavities. They tell me I do a great job. And then they're like, we recommend you do this treatment and that treatment. And it's like, for a while I was doing these things, but after a while I was just like, do I need it? And then I was talking to my wife, and she was like, do you always feel like the dentist is trying to like sell us? It's like a nice dentist, you know, it's like we sit in massage chairs as we're getting our teeth cleaned. It's great.
What kind of dentist are you going to?
It's really extra. I don't mess around with my dentist, but the point being is like they can afford those massage chairs because they're upselling the crap out of us. And like, we're looking for new dentists because there's just like this icky feel when you get done. Like, you know, like you feel like you're being sold to. My wife will text me and be like, I guess I need to buy a $400 toothbrush because the dentist is trying to sell it to me. And it's like, this is not, you know, we talk about add-ons a lot, and there's a ton of episodes about like the actual add-ons, that sort of a thing. But if you're filtering it into, for me, again, one of my keywords as a business is I want to be a guide. Well, add-ons happen as I'm guiding them through the process, and I will sprinkle in the idea of some of these add-ons as we're talking, but I will always let them know that like we can always add things on as we're going. If they want to see, like, I'll show them the prices of different things that I do to add on. They know I'm expensive if they've paid, you know, $6,000 or $7,000 to book me. And like they have those prices out in front of them. I send them my full pricing link that is branded well and has all the add-ons I want to talk about. And so what I do with that, though, like as I'm thinking through it with the branding, is I have automated times set up to reach out to them and to continue to stay in communication with them. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm guiding them if I book them for a wedding 18 months from now, and then I talk to them 1 month before the wedding trying to sell them a lot of things. That doesn't match up with me being the guide that I want to be. And so taking my time and saying, okay, now we've booked you. We're going to text. I'm just going to be on your social media. I'm going to be interacting with you. I'm going to be checking in on things. And I let everyone know my process. This is how I'm going to guide you. If you have questions, here's my number. But we're going to go ahead and set up a 6-month meeting. We're going to set up this. We're going to be on the calendar. And that is how I go about adding on things, and how I do it in my brand is guiding people. How about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've started taking an approach that's very similar to how you do it. So much, it's so new that I haven't actually had any of these meetings yet because the weddings are so, far away. But I was just hearing John, and yes, I want to make more money, from our wedding. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, wanting to make more to provide for your family so that we can, live the life that we want to live. But we are totally doing it under the funnel of, we really want to serve our couples very, very well. We want to give them a really solid experience. We want them to have great thoughts about us. We want them to, talk well about us. But I mean, we want all of that stuff. But at the same point, service is our big thing. So if I'm coming to them and I'm talking to them and I'm like, listen, you booked us for an 8-hour day, but it's a Catholic ceremony. And, that's fairly long. And then your reception is 45 minutes away. I think that you are going to need 2 hours. And I'm not just trying to sell them 2 more hours so that I can make $1,000 extra bucks. I'm trying to sell them 2 more hours because I legitimately think that they need that for, their wedding day. So, I haven't gotten to go through the process, and I'm really excited to talk about that whenever I actually have one of these, 5 or 6 month meetings to go on more to that. So.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm really, really excited about, and this is actually a really exciting announcement that we've been working on since February.
It's been a bit.
We do have a brand new sponsor, and we're super pumped about them being on a very highly esteemed brand in our industry, Photo Flash Drive.
Photo Flash Drive.
Yes, we met them out at WPPI in February. One of my good friends said, hey, can you pick up like 15 playbooks for me? And I was like, what's a playbook? And he lives here in Tulsa, and he was like, you got to get you got to see these things. And a lot of us have seen these playbooks, but basically, you can upload your videos to these custom playbooks, and you can use these as an extension of your brand. And one of the things that I've been doing a lot in my post-wedding sales is selling these kinds of extra books. A lot of people ask for something tangible. A lot of people ask for something in hand. And there have been so many times where, I do video and photo as a company where it's like they're ready. They want to buy something from it. They want something in hand. And I'm like, well, I can give you a little thumb drive, or I can give you, a download link or whatever. And it just never felt like it was on my level when it came to the branding that I wanted to do, kind of like how we use Webflow and can really brand ourselves well. And it was like, we're looking for this place and this opportunity to be able to offer something even more next level when it comes to our branding. And so super excited. Photo Flash Drive is going to be on. We're going to talk a lot more about their books and things like that, Nick. I know there's some stuff that I probably didn't say. I will let you say it. And they also have some specials, I think, going on. Right.
So starting today, we have, for the month of July, if you want anything from Photo Flash Drive, go to our website, howtofilmweddings.com/photoflashdrive, and you use the promo code HTFW30. You can get 30% off of anything on their website, which is amazing. It's awesome. We're so grateful that they're doing that. But for this week only, so it's July 6th through 13th of 2020, this week only, they are doing what they are calling a 50/50 sale. So use the promo code 50/50 sale, and you can get 50% off of one of these playbooks. And whenever they ship it to you, you will get a $50 voucher that you can use on their website. So 50% off of a playbook, and then you will receive $50 voucher in the mail whenever you get your playbook in hand. That promo code 50/50 sale is only good for this week that we dropped this episode. It's kind of a launch celebration give back. So those are two things. And if you want more information, again, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/photoflashdrive.
And on that site, you can see videos, you can see photos of what it is. But like what I've really, and we'd been contacted by a handful of different companies. And when it came down to it, with our sponsors and people that we have on our show, we want the best of the best when it comes down to it. And so, when we were talking is like, ultimately, if we're going to put our stamp of approval on a company, we want it to be the best of the best. And Photo Flash Drive is just that. Their customer service is amazing. I know this is starting to sound like an ad, which it's not. I mean, technically it is, but it's not.
It is, but it's not.
But
it is.
Again, we're in a position where it's like, we're not going to push something where we don't
love it,
fully love it. And so like, you can go on their site, you can customize these things. And so what I've done, Nick, which has been really, really cool, is I've been able to have these in my studio and be able to pop them open and show different brides. Like, this is something that you, like, once they come in, you know, they see it and it's like, we can always add that. And so I have a little video I can send them saying, here's what it looks like. Do you want to add one of these on? And I can sell them for several $100. And it's a nice add-on. And I don't know if you've had the question. It's like, my grandma wants a DVD. And it's like, well, I don't have a DVD burner. I don't have... These are like drag and drop where you can put like up to 32 gigs worth of stuff on them. And so anyway, it's super custom and I love it. And why I love it, you know, it's like, we're talking about this marketing, this branding. Think about it when it comes to other vendors. Like, one thing that we did is we uploaded a lot of videos from one of the venues here in town, and we can deliver that in a playbook. So whenever brides are doing meetings at the venues, instead of just looking through photo books, they can pop open a video and you can put your videos on there. You can have it branded with your logo, your information. Anyway, super great to have them on, and that, you know, I'm super great about all that. So.
Yeah. And one thing that I really appreciate and love about these video playbooks from Photo Flash Drive is that you can totally customize the cover. You can put your logo on it. They have it wrapped, so then like the image, if you know it's a photo or something like that, it like actually wraps around, so it looks really nice on the cover. It looks clean. I think that this is one of these products that you know, someone asked me a question after our episode from last Monday, and they're like, what separates like the medium kind of tier to the higher end when it comes to branding? And I really think it's how we treat the small little things. Like just those little details where, you know, like all of your fonts are in sync on your website. The colors are all the same, you know, just the language, you know. But I think that this is one of those little things that just will take that customer experience up a notch and, you know, make people love it. Now, where I really see that this is going to be super valuable is going to be to parents and grandparents. And venues. I mean, I think couples will buy these and have them, you know, sit them on their coffee table or something like that. But for, you know, parents or grandparents that really want to show this stuff off, this is much easier to, when they have people over, to open up a book and say, hey, look at this. Here's their wedding video. You know, here's all this stuff. So anyway, I think this is one of those products that can elevate your brand to the next level.
Yeah.
Easily.
And when you're thinking about the entire experience from, you know, the time somebody reaches out to you until the time that they're done with their wedding and they've referred other people, like, you do need to come up with keywords that are the experience you want your customers to have. You want the keywords that you want other vendors, business to business relationships, how you can serve them. And so like all of these things flow together. You start talking about your pricing page and how that works together with the way your website looks and how that works together with the way you do your sales, the way you have confidence, the way you lead your meetings, the way you know, and so there's just something about those little extra details all adding up. It's not one little thing. It all works together. And so, you know, to the thousands of you out there that are listening, which still blows our mind, you know, it's like, why do you listen to what we do? Why do you care about what we've done? And it's because hopefully we've branded ourselves in such a way that down to the little fonts that we use on everything, to the daily threads in our Facebook group, the way that we conduct ourselves in the group, the way we don't allow negative talk, the way that it all flows together for a brand that hopefully, you know, speaks well to you. And there are people that buy things from us, there are people that don't buy things from us. Like, that's all great, but like the idea is we're being true to who we are, all while offering this entire experience for people. And that's what's attractive. And there are a lot of people that have probably turned on our podcast and been like, not for me, and they've moved on. And that's okay, because we would rather, like we say, have 2,000 people that are listening that just are all the way in than 2 million people in that are just haters and trolls and things like that. And so whether it's your video for weddings business, your commercial business, or something else, the next level when it comes to your marketing and your branding involves having those keywords and bringing those throughout your entire experience with your customer.
Yeah. And another thing with customer experience, it's we firmly believe that it's not just on the wedding day. It's not just on the wedding day. It's the 18 months before the wedding where they booked you. And then it's all the way through to like delivery of their final product. So how you're treating them, how you're talking to them, how you're communicating with them. So some of these people, this is a 2-year commitment, right? That you are in their lives. And so you want that experience, that branding that you have done to go with them, well beyond whenever you are done, working with them. So to wrap it up today, John, I am super excited that Photo Flash Drive is an official sponsor of our podcast. Again, if you want more information about their products, go to howtofilmweddings.com/photo flash drive. Can I photo flash drive? I did it. I said it. So again, there are 2 promos just this week only. 50/50 sale, 50% off a playbook, and then you get a $50 voucher. And then HTFW 30 for 30% off. I assume that those promo codes do not stack. So just want to throw that out there. They do not stack. The thing we want to leave you with today is you don't want to be forgettable. You don't want to be someone where people says, oh yeah, my wedding video person was, they can't even remember. Or, be memorable. That will help you excel your brand so that more people can find you. Be memorable. Don't be forgettable. John, it's been good talking with you today. Hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy talking.
Always enjoy it, my friend. Yeah.
Yes. So again, we want you to head over to howtofilmweddings.com/photo flash drive. Check out all of the things all the great products and stuff that they offer that can really help elevate your brand and business. Again, thanks for listening. And until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.